Alright everyone, welcome to this tutorial. Today I want to show you how I did my track Apocalypse, which was made a few years ago. It was requested on my Instagram and I received some messages about how I did this track. It was made quite some times ago, so there might be some stuff that I wouldn't have made like this today, but yeah, I hope it will still be relevant to you guys. And yeah, other things that I've been obviously inspired by the climax atmosphere, so it might sound alike. Let's just dive into the track. First the preview, then I will explain to you guys how I did it.
He walked out into the gray light and saw the absolute reality of the world. All the one-screen lands of the earth were no more than ash and charcoal. Everywhere was veiled in darkness. Obscure. The apocalypse.
Just skip that part.
Was obscure. Everything.
So let's start off with the break. So how I did the vocal. I got in touch with a guy from Fever, which is a website, and I ordered the vocal. I did the lyrics myself, so I sent the lyrics with my voice. And how do they sound like without any background effects?
He walked out into the gray light.
So I did not process them that much. I've just used a compressor, an EQ, CLA, DSR for the higher frequencies. Again, compressor and EQ for the lows. What I did also is to add some imaging and stereo effects and some ambience, an instance of reverse reverb of the vocal underneath, which is this one, I guess, if I remember. It's quite an old project, so I don't know where I throw stuff into the mixer. So together it sounds like...
Walked out into the gray light.
Otherwise, even though the vocal is sent to a reverb bus, it sounds a bit dry, so... What I did also is adding a rumbling sound in the background to fill up the lows. It comes from Omnisphere. I recorded it and then put it in the project. It's also used a lot in video games. I did not process a lot, so I guess I removed the side low. No, I didn't. So it might have been done in master afterwards. But anyway, so there is also some fancy effects to give some dark climax, mysterious atmosphere.
We're no more.
Like this one. No. And after that comes the orchestral break. So for the choirs, which play a big role into this break, I used many layers. The first one, Metropolis. All together sounds like this. And I also used strings that are playing in a staccato, I guess, if I remember. And underneath, I used damage, which is from Contact. I used it a lot in my sounds, in my tracks. Obviously, I did the riff myself because I like having control on what I do. That kind of libraries is that you can play around with the velocity, the panning, and the pitch, and it gives a whole different dimension into the track. So it's really important to play around with this. And after that, I used more layers with like counter melodies and to add more power into the track. So the first thing you hear in the second part of the orchestral break is the chorist, which is again from Omnisphere. And it might be a sound that B-front use a lot. And also an arpeggio, which is on the right side of the speaker because I guess I used panning automation. This layer, other extra layers with strings, also bass line. So a trick that I did because I added a bass line is that I removed the bass line of the drums. Otherwise, it sounds a bit confusing if you don't do it because drums have loads informations as well as the bass line. So that's why I did it. Also some volume automation with the CC option of Contact. Also cutoff automations, which increases towards the end of the break. And of course also some crashes and other fancy effects. Then comes the lead. So for the lead, I used quite some layers. The first one is a bassline layer, which is, if I remember, silent. You can copy the preset if you want. The second one is a power core, which is basically a virus B into a plugin, and without the sync issues of the real virus B. And you also have the option of playing with more voices, unison voices. You can go to 16, which is quite a lot. After you have other layers. First one, second one, third, and a MIDI for, I guess, the automation of the cutoff with the MIDI of Volcano. And also, I forgot some white noise for the higher frequencies, because I like the sound of the white noise for the higher frequencies, and some mid-low informations, and a kick that I've done myself, trust me or not, which is something pretty not common nowadays, if you would ask me. And yeah, that's basically it for the lead. And what else can I say? Then the drop. So I forgot to mention, but for the lead, I wrote all the mixer of each instances of each layers into the same bus to have somehow more together feeling with the leads, and I can treat them all in one. And yeah, what I did is, if you want to see what presets that I used in the mixer, you can just copy this if you want. After that, for the drop, I used an EQ to remove the low information of the lead, because you have already the kick playing the low, so you don't want to have two things playing in this frequency range. And I guess I also used a sidechain. No, I didn't. I would have used it now, but back in the days I did not do it. So, and yeah, also what is important in this track is how I did the second drop. So, to give some kind of Christian answer, I played around with a screech, which is playing afterwards the lead, and it's a screech that I've done with the Virus TI, like this. So I automated the pitch in this case. I did some treatment on it: sidechain, saturation, imaging, EQ. And lastly, I used also for this screech serum. Also some bunch of fills with damage and a crash. And so guys, that's it for this tutorial. I hope you learned some stuff. And yeah, tell me what you think of it, if you want me to do it more often. And yeah, hope to see you soon, guys. Bye.